Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Oh, shoot. Gotta get the schematics right. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. If you were with me in the last video, I talked about how to manage work-life balance as a nurse and as a nursing student. I discussed that the landscape was changing, that the political landscape is changing, and the shortage of nurses has affected us all. And understanding the landscape or surveying the landscape gives you the ability to load your arsenal. I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but what I'm trying to articulate is simply this: it gives you to come to the fight with your weapons. What are your weapons? Your weapons are being prepared and understanding that we are at a pivotal time in nursing. So understanding the broader landscape gives you the opportunity to understand that you're coming into a system that's already short of staff, nurses, physicians, and nursing assistants. So, therefore, you're dealing with external pressure and internal pressure in a very demanding job because we're dealing with people's souls, their lives. And that's very important to understand and create a great deal of anxiety. Now let me say this: as we go into this third episode of managing work-life balance and understanding what to do for a 12 or 8 hour shift in order to get out of there on time or reasonable amount of time. Let's say that you have to come prepared. Okay. Now, what would I recommend as a 63-year-old nurse looking back at my 27-year-old self? Number one, I would arrive to work a few minutes early. Now, I did some research on this and I looked at what the nurses were saying about arriving to work early, and there was a lot of controversy on that. And let me just say, for the purpose of understanding, there are those who have to work 30 minutes early and maybe 15 minutes early. And there was a lot of back and forth about nurses who look in the computer, point things out, and using this as a weapon to attack other nurses. This is not what I'm saying whatsoever. I am saying that for my new nurse, for my novice nurse who doesn't know the landscape, who doesn't know uh, the system, then arriving a few minutes early, it's nothing wrong with that. Some say, hey, don't come early because it's illegal to go into the patient's medical record. I get that. But coming a few minutes early gives you the opportunity to say, okay, so I said, if that fits you, you can come to work a few minutes early just to get your self together. Because a lot of times the what is on the paper, the staffing has changed, or maybe there's a call off. So this nugget is important. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is doing a huddle. What is a huddle? Well, we know a huddle in football is where the players come together with a strategy to win. And they're communicating, with each other to set up a strategy to win the game. In other words, they're not using and relying entirely on their strength. Sekehaya. Their strength is part of it, but strength harnessed and put in motion in the right direction is better utilized. Please write that down for me, somebody. The Holy Spirit just dropped that on me. Strength harnessed in the right direction can be utilized better. So, what am I saying? In the huddle, you're going to identify what your glitches are. I just stated a glitch is if somebody is on the assignment but physically not present. We can address that right now. Make the adjustment. Another thing you can do in a huddle is identify new nurses, new staff who may not know the protocol. So when you get into um, the shift, it's 2 hours into shift, you have an emergency, you have a cold blue, or whatever your code's in, that means you have to act fast, then you know you got a newbie on board. They don't know the protocol. That's a glitch. That's a glitch because you didn't identify this early. You are not, please do not take this out of context, going to be able to identify every single glitch early. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that communicating, effective communication allows for better outcomes. What is effective communication? Effective communication is simply this: it's I say something and you hear it, and when you repeat it back to me, we agree that what was said was what you heard. In other words, if you tell a story, everybody knows the analogy where you tell a story, you tell it to five people. When it comes back to you, the story is totally different. So when communicating with people, we cannot consume that things that we articulated was heard as the way we imagined it or portrayed that information. So, again, communication is vital. Okay. The next intervention I would like to say is not only effective communication, but understanding where your resources are and who is the resource person. For example, the chain of command. Who is the supervisor? Who is the team leader? Who is your team leader? Who is the nurse in charge? If you have a medication question, you've already identified, hey, I can go and access pharmacy and they will help me understand this medication before I give it. I use the mnemonic: stop, look, and listen. I'm going to say that again. Seeker de la Haya. Stop, look, and listen. Sounds simple. Sounds maybe juvenile or trite, but it's very effective because stop, looking, and listen gives you the opportunity to reset. We're living in a world full of distractions and noise. Not And this noise, on a unit, whether it's ICU, med surge, L tech, whatever, there's information coming at you all times. This is what the nurse is being paid for, to handle or multitask. And so this can be a bit overwhelming. So when the nursing assistant comes to you and say, hey, I have an emergency in room 5567, you have to ascertain, is that an urgency or is that an emergency? Okay, so this is what I'm saying about communication. Maybe when you get to the room, it's not an emergency, but it was urgency. So these are the things you have to establish as best you can do at the beginning of your shift. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you energy, and it's going to help preventing information that was not communicated effectively. The next thing I want to talk about in understanding how to balance work life is taking care of yourself. Now, there's a lot of information about self care. I won't be redundant in that. We understand exercise, we understand eating right, we know what we should do, but oftentimes we do not. And here is where I want to interject some of the things I've done to take care of myself better while managing my personal life and my work life. Number one, I meal prep. Number two, I eat things that are nutritious. Number three, when I'm going to work, I will get a complex carbohydrate. I will take fruit. I will take a beet juice that I've made, a root vegetable. Or if I don't have the time for that, because we know life is lifing, right? I will go to the store and buy some beet juice. And I will drink that because I know that my body is going to receive that energy at the cellular level. Okay? So we have to do things smarter. We cannot continue drudging like soldiers working without rest and because this isn't working. We have sick people taking care of sick people. So that's what I want to interject here, that we have to do a better job at balancing the work and life. And the last thing that I want to tell you is putting systems in place. These systems are going to help us have a better work-life balance by having a systemic approach to work and life. That's the end of this video. Please click, subscribe, and share, and come back for the next series. Thank you.